Okay, if I manage to survive this video without complaining about the heat, after this moment, I've done a very good job, and my job will be considered a success for the day. Got myself a hot coffee. Finally! Chelsea win a Premier League game of football. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Welcome to 6 things that we learned from Norwich 2, Chelsea 3. Chelsea, again, defensively, just going to hold my hands up and say it wasn't perfect. However, as you can see on the screen today, we've got the traffic light system back. We've got 5 green lights, or green boxes. It's not really lights at all, is it really? 1 yellow one. And I've decided to avoid reds altogether today because there are so many positives. I don't want to put any real negative spin on the main 6 things that I've personally taken away from the performance yesterday. Of course, this whole channel is based on carrying on the conversation with you, and if you have any points in this video that you think were much stronger than the positives I'm about to talk about today, then let me know in the comments down below where you think it may have gone wrong. Were we a bit lucky yesterday? All of these questions, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and of course I'll revisit them in a Chelsea Fans React episode later on this week, maybe tomorrow or a few days time. But anyway, point number 1, and this for me, yesterday was a turning point in the history of Chelsea Football Club. If we look at the pre-Abramovich era, there were a few trophies scattered here and there, no league titles since the 50s, and then all of a sudden, this Russian injection of money comes in. Roman Abramovich comes in, the Russian Revolution commences. Some rival fans would say that Chelsea have bought their trophies, that Chelsea, you know, before the Abramovich... Oh, shut up, I've had enough of hearing all that nonsense. He invests a load of money in players like Didier Drogba. We're spending 24 million on him. What a bargain that was. Wins us Premier Leagues, wins us Champions Leagues, and finally, this academy that has also had money invested into it, the facilities at Chelsea, the scouting network, the academy network, the way that we bring players up from below 10 years old, Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham. It is beautiful to see that moment yesterday where Tammy Abraham scores his first Chelsea goal. Runs straight to Frank Lampard, and that embraces something that I'm so happy to say I was at the match yesterday. If you've not yet seen the match vlog, be sure to check it out. Sadly, you didn't see him run over to Frank because, well, they're just limbs in the away end yesterday, wasn't it? It was incredible. And just this whole process of, we've spent a lot of money on players that have been brilliant. We've also spent a lot of money on players who haven't been brilliant, and to see the youngsters coming through, and finally, you can see behind me, 94, this is my Benson 94 shirt from when I played a match at Wembley, conceded 6 or 7 goals that day and I was a defender, so we won't talk about it for too long, gave away a penalty, putting myself under the bus. Since 1994, Chelsea have not fielded a starting 11 with a young average age as young as it was yesterday. It was incredible. 24 years old, that's younger than me, which certainly does make me feel old because I've been supporting Chelsea my whole life, and since I've been born, that was the youngest 11 Chelsea have fielded. And to add to that, we've got the likes of Reece James, who's probably more than likely to get some starts, and Callum Hudson-Odoi to come back from injury, and Ruben, who are all also sub 24 years old. There are so many great young players that are still to play for Chelsea this season. That average age is going to keep coming down, and I, for one, am so excited for what these youngsters have already done and what they're going to achieve moving forward. So point number 2, let's focus a moment on Tammy Abraham. Here's his first goal again. I'm not going to get bored of showing you guys that clip. It was beautiful footage for a start. And what a moment for Tammy. He's been waiting and waiting and waiting. He's been given the go-ahead by Frank Lampard, and he delivered yesterday in the greatest of fashions. That first goal, the way he takes the volley, the way he drops back, enables himself to open his body on his strongest foot to rifle the ball into the bottom corner of the net. That is what I want from my striker. An instinctive man who knows that the ball's being played behind him, so he moves, he drags himself back so that he can move onto the ball. He's not trying any of these fancy flicks because the chances are they won't go in unless you're Olivier Giroud. Tammy Abraham rifles it in, and then the second goal gets a touch, brings it out of his body, and again, arrows it into the bottom corner of the goal. When you're a striker, your output is based off of how many goals you score. So, you know, obviously those are the 2 main points I make for Tammy, and I've got a little arrow in the centre with ×2 next to it. You know the drill, it's the George Benson graphics way. It's just what we do. At times in the first half yesterday, he did drift out of the game in terms of his involvement, but the movement that we saw from Tammy in order to get into the positions, even when there was a bit of a scramble in the Norwich box, they were diving in left, left, right and centre. Tammy was trying to get the shot away. He was patient and he controlled himself superbly well on the field, which was, well, surplus of what his age is. Again, we've got players that are young, that are only going to get better, already delivering the goods. It's great to see. And sticking on the same tune of that, the scorer of the second goal, Mason Mount. I absolutely flipping love this kid. Like, what is it he can't do? I think the only flaw, potentially, that I can see at the moment is the physical side of things. I think he needs to bulk up a little bit, maybe. But when he is on the ball, he's always going forward. He's direct. He knows where the goal is. And the finish yesterday, there's a lot of other players in the Chelsea midfield that I won't scapegoat for this, but when you get into that position, cutting inside again and rifling it in the top corner, I think that there would be quite a few players that have played for Chelsea over recent years who it would be hit straight at the goalkeeper, or it would go wide, or we'd hit the post, and we'd be talking about another missed opportunity. With Mason, as soon as he gets that eye for goal, it goes in. And it was also the movement off the ball that really impressed me yesterday. There were a lot of times in the first half where, for example, Christian Pulisic, I felt as though there were runs that could have been made in behind that he wasn't making, and then maybe he made them, but it was a little bit too late, and then the opportunity in the box is gone. With Mason, he's always on the move. There were times yesterday in the first half where Ross Barkley had the ball, and he was looking to distribute it, and there was a lack of movement and a lack of ideas when Ross is trying to clip that ball over the top. If there was one player that was making those runs, it was Mason Mount. He's always trying to get into the space, trying to involve the other players, and that direct style is beautiful to see, and he gets himself yet another goal, vindicating his decision, or Frank's decision, to continue to start him. Great job, Mason. Point number 4, and I should have probably given this man a lot more credit over the recent videos because he's been absolutely fantastic this season and in pre-season. Mateo Kovacic. There was this clip yesterday. Tackle! As you can probably guess from that, let me just take a quick sip of my coffee. I think we all know what I'm about to say. There were times yesterday where I just didn't understand how defenders couldn't put in a tackle. I think Zuma had a very good game. He won all of his aerial battles. He was commanding in defence. Christensen got forward and almost got a goal for himself as well, if it wasn't for this incredible save from Tim Krul. But Mateo Kovacic yesterday, his tackling, his passing range, the way he covered ground, he got an assist, and the way he moved forward as well. He's a reborn player under Frank Lampard. Mateo Kovacic was absolutely superb. And there were so many times yesterday where he won the ball back, and then it wasn't just get rid of it quickly and see what I can do from here. Don't go forward because, you know, I don't score many goals, so there's no point me running forward. He took his time on the ball. He made the right decisions more often than not. And I think if it wasn't for Tammy Abraham scoring twice yesterday, I'd have given Kovacic my man of the match. I think the way that he covers the ground, the way he dribbles forward is beautiful to watch. And I mentioned it at times in a previous video. The way he dribbles sometimes, I'm not comparing, okay, I kind of am comparing. The way he dribbles is a bit like Eden Hazard at times, Mateo Kovacic. I think he's absolutely brilliant and justifying the 40 million we spent on him. And if he carries on playing like this, it's going to look a bargain. So point number 5, and I've been quick to jump on Azpilicueta's back and not give him credit when he's had a good game. Yesterday, he deserves his position in this 6 Things That We Learned video. He's point number 5. He got himself an assist, and I think the important thing with what we saw from Azpilicueta's performance yesterday and the way he held himself throughout the game was he wasn't bombing forward at every opportunity. I think the intensity from Chelsea in the game against Norwich was very well managed by Frank Lampard. I think in the game against Leicester, the reason we ran out of steam is because we gave it 110 for the first 30 minutes, and then we kind of drifted towards the end of the game because we ran out of energy. Yesterday, and I think Azpilicueta was the perfect example as to where we got it right, he was far more disciplined. He was making more supportive runs as opposed to just making these direct runs, leaving himself exposed in a defensive position. We have seen over the years that Azpilicueta can do a good job going forward. The way he linked up with Alvaro Morata, it was like it was almost magnetic and telepathic. Yesterday, going forward, he was a bit more of a threat. There was far less pointless crossing where he didn't beat the first man, far more disciplined, and not only that, he came out about 24 hours or 48 hours before and he was asked about Reece James. Obviously Reece James is a right back that we're all very excited to see. Many people are saying that Azpilicueta's time at Chelsea is done, Reece James is coming in, he'll lose his place and he won't play for us anymore. That isn't the case. The way that Azpilicueta holds himself as a professional is absolutely outstanding. He's came out and said that he's going to support and nurture Reece James into that Chelsea role at right back. He's aware that he's getting older and that Reece James is very young. He's got a lot of promise. And the way that he supports those youth players and the way that he carries himself within our football club is a credit to not only himself, but a credit to Chelsea. moving forward with an experienced player like Dave in our team, or should I say Cesar Azpilicueta. What a man he is, and I'm very glad he's still at our football club. So point number 6, and I've ended on a yellow because it's more of a question, really. I'm not just going to write this guy off because, in my opinion, he was our best player in pre-season and he deserves his shot, and yesterday he got the shot due to an injury from Pedro in the warm-up. Ross Barkley, I've given him a yellow. It wasn't a red because I think there were times yesterday where Ross was very good. In the first half in particular, I wasn't that impressed, to be honest. I think there were times he gave the ball away, made the wrong decisions. Again, he's not using that body weight that he's got and the strength that he has to win the ball back as much. He was a bit sluggish at times. And then in the second half, we saw more of the industrious side to Ross Barkley's game, where he can take players on, where he can dribble, where he's getting shots away from outside the area. And the issue with Ross Barkley is I don't think he realises that he's not got that much time before someone like Ruben comes back, who we pretty much know what we're going to get in terms of that physicality when he's in the side. Ross has got to start using his ability far more often. We can't have one half where he's not looking great and then the next half he perks up a bit, still doesn't score or get involved as much. I don't really know what to expect from Ross Barkley, and maybe this is what we've got to expect from Ross Barkley. He can't turn it on every week, and maybe we could stop just thinking that he's going to. I've given him a yellow. I don't think he was bad yesterday. I just don't think, again, he was playing as good as he can do, the way that we have seen him play in the past, even recently. And he did only get a start yesterday because Pedro was injured in the warm-up. So even in Frank's pecking order, my forehead is starting to sweat. It's so flipping hot in here. So those are the 6 things that I learned in particular yesterday. They were the 6 talking points that I wanted to go away with. And as always, on the George Benson Football channel, the whole reason I made this channel in the first place was to start a footballing conversation, something that I can do in my sleep, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can as well. So let me know what your thoughts are on the 6 points that I've raised in this video today, and if you've got anything else you want to add, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for all the support. We're nearly at 40,000 subscribers, so if you're not yet subscribed to the George Benson Football channel, get yourself a cup of coffee, drink it, otherwise it'd be a waste of coffee, subscribe to the channel, watch a few old videos, maybe you find something you like, then subscribe. I don't know, I've kind of just messed up the entire order, haven't I? But you know what I mean. That's been the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.